Hello, hello, here we go, it's the Kopite Podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Kopite Podcast. I'm Mick Moran. I'm joined once again by Matt Ramirez, defender of Jordan Henderson.
Fucking get in, yes.
And Game of Thrones tattoos, if you haven't...
Lord of the Rings, get it right.
How did I say Lord of the well, I'll post a picture of it in the tweet, and we can everyone can have a little laugh at it anyway, because I've seen it.
It's big and it hurt like that. There we go.
Anyway, let's crack on. We're gonna discuss tomorrow or today, whenever you're watching it, against Sheffield United, 8 o'clock kickoff at Anfield. Back at Anfield. Feels like a long time since we've been back at Anfield, but I think we've got 3 now in a row at Anfield. So, you looking forward to tomorrow's game?
Yeah, we're gonna win.
Well, we'll see you next time, everyone.
This was the Kopite Podcast. Yeah, I think we'll be fine. Sheffield haven't been as good as they were last year. I think we've got a bit of a point to prove. Players are going to be angry after what happened against Everton. Fab looked all right, quite good, very good against Ajax. So no concerns really. We'll be fine. Yeah,
I mean, when you look at I don't want to talk about the Everton game because it's just I want to blot it out of my mind because it was fucking horrendous. Yeah, the way it ended, that's fucking cannon be arse. But yeah, Ajax game, I thought we had a point to prove. Hadn't kept the clean sheet since Chelsea back in the second game of the season back in September. If you don't count the Carabao Cup, which I don't think we do, because it ends up going out on penalties anyway.
Yeah.
But it was nice to get a clean sheet with Gomez and Fabinho. For me, were both really good against Ajax, and I thought Adrian was okay. Do you think Adrian, I imagine Klopp said today Alisson is in contention, but I imagine he won't risk him tomorrow. Do you imagine Fabinho and Gomez will retain their positions back there?
Yeah, I think it might be a bit too soon to risk Matip, even though he's also in contention. I think Matip is going to be the stronger option compared to Gomez. So I don't think we could risk him against Sheff, especially with City coming up. Definitely won't risk Alisson. I think the clean sheet would have done Adrian a world of good. Hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he sticks with what he knows. Just lump it when the ball's at his feet. Just smash it. But yeah, I think Thiago might start, even though he's in contention. Also, I think he might start, and it's very important that Hendo starts because I think it's proved that he's the cog here.
Yeah, I think in that Ajax game, I think it was not a bold move, but given Jones' debut from the beginning was nice to see. And then obviously, Klopp thought, well, we need to bring on Hendo and shore up and get the cogs whirring and get the midfield moving. And that's what happened when he came on at half time. He is literally the essential piece in this Liverpool team now, isn't he? Like, he's literally the driving force of everything we do.
He just, whatever he does, everyone just seems to follow. He just runs his socks off and he calls out anyone that's not doing it. So it's important. Like we said when the last time I was on was the Villa review. That's what was missing. Someone to actually grab the team by the scruff of the neck and be like, "Oi, do this," and he does that. So it's vital that we get him in the team. I think a lot of people took the piss out of Henderson for a long time, and he only really started getting the respect he deserved. Funny enough, when he wasn't in the side and we were realising, oh shit, it's because he's not in the team that we're not functioning as well. But now I think every Liverpool fan knows that he's a very, very important piece and definitely the first name on the team sheet, if fit.
Definitely, yeah, he's definitely going to start tomorrow. Like, I'd be very surprised. Like, the midfield against Ajax was Gini, Millie and Jones. So I imagine Jones and Millie will drop. Maybe Wijnaldum keeps his position alongside Hendo and Thiago, maybe. I'm not sure about Kate. I'm not sure what's going on because he was tested negative for Corona, and then we all thought he was going to travel to Amsterdam for the Ajax game, and he didn't. So I don't know if it was a case of just keeping him at Melwood fresh and then ready for this game. I don't know. What do you reckon he'll start, Keita?
I think it's between Keita and Thiago. He didn't say that Keita was out. He said that he could play. So, he might start Keita, give Thiago a bit more time to recover. He did take a bit of a clattering against Richarlison, so better be safe than sorry against Sheffield. Yes, you need to respect all your opponents, but a midfield of Gini, Keita, and Hendo should be able to get the job done. Let's not beat around the bush. Keita is a quality player anyway, so if he starts, great.
Yeah, I think because we've been building him up to try and be this better player, because he is great and he's just had too many injuries, hasn't he? And then when Thiago's came in from obscurity, and we've got this great midfielder in there, so everyone's kind of forgot about him a little bit, but he can still be vital for this Liverpool team. I think some of the work that he does goes under the radar a little bit. I mean, people want to see him taking people on, doing step overs and little back heels and scoring goals like he did against Chelsea last season and stuff like that, and he can do that. I think in this system where he plays on the left or the right of a three in midfield, he's got to do like the roles that they do. Like the role Gini does isn't the role he does for Holland. So, and you don't see the goals he scores for Holland in the Liverpool shirt, because it's the Klopp role to have them just sitting there and let the fullbacks fly forward. So it would be nice to see him start tomorrow. I think, like you said, if Thiago's not fully fit, then it's probably not worth risking him. Maybe have him on the bench and bring him on. Yeah, on 45, just to hopefully keep us ticking over after we've scored a couple. But I just wanted to ask you about Rhian Brewster. I mean, Chris Wilder said earlier that he might, he doesn't know whether he's going to start him yet, but I think he will. Do you think it's written in the stars for him to get a goal at Anfield?
100%. Rhian Brewster is good. Let's not get this. Let's not forget that he is quality. Klopp said it himself. There's a reason that there's a buyback. And there's a reason the buyback is so high. The kid has talent. The kid will score if he starts. Just a feeling. Everyone always scores when they return to play against Liverpool, and this guy's good. And we're missing Virgil, so even though Fabinho is quality, there's something about Brewster that he's just in the right place at the right time. Just a goal scorer, and fancy him probably to get on the score sheet if he starts.
Yeah, I mean, if it's all that, well, it doesn't depend on if Matip or Fabinho starts, but I would like to see Matip come back in, to be honest, if possible. But then that means obviously I'd then want Fabinho to go into midfield if Matip does start. So it's all about, obviously, Klopp said in his interview, in his press earlier today, like he thinks Matip, Thiago and Alisson are in contention up until the point someone tells him otherwise. So I haven't seen any pictures from Melwood today, so I don't know who's trained and who hasn't, to be honest. So I suppose it's all dependent, but it's not like it's a major thing. If Matip's not fully fit, or Thiago, they'll just go on the bench and we'll have Fab back there, and should be sound, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should be all right. Even though I think Brewster will get on the score sheet, I still think we'll win. I've definitely got enough going forward to win this. I think we're just going to revert into Liverpool of a few years back, which is score a shit ton of goals and try outscore our opponents. Hopefully, with the clean sheet midweek, the confidence grows and we can start keeping more and more clean sheets. But we haven't exactly been the tightest at the back this season. That was with Virgil. And now without Virgil, we obviously are a lot weaker. So I think it's just about getting confidence back in the squad in a defensive sense. So get the 3 points and then let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think, like I said, the clean sheet against Ajax the other day will do us wonders, especially with if it's that trio of Fab, Gomez and Adrian. It's just getting out, like Klopp said today in his presser as well. Like Fabinho is great at defending, but it's and he can play in centre back like he's played there all of his career. Like it looks like it's a perfect fit for him, but it's just getting that personnel used to the other players in those positions. Like Gomez used to Fabinho being in front of him to pick up the ball. He's not used to him being next to him. So it's just building those relationships up, isn't it? Like the likes of when you look at Mane and Robbo on the left and Trent and Salah on the other side. That, those duos have been built up over time to a point where they're like it's systematic and it's just like subconsciously you know what people are going to do. So it's just a matter of time, isn't it? Like that's why I think maybe if they did put Gomez and Fabinho, it might be for the best, just to kind of build that rapport up. Because imagine like Gomez and Matip haven't played alongside each other majorly a lot, but I think Fabinho back there would maybe it's good games from at home at Anfield just to keep that run going and getting them used to that position, isn't it?
Yeah, it takes time, obviously, to build a rapport, I suppose, with someone that's playing next to you. It also takes time to learn how to play a new position. It's weird because he's a defensive mid that's dropped in a centre back, and I don't think I'm going to get crucified for saying that he's probably now our best centre back. But it's going to take time. Like he's going at centre back, he can't do some of the things that he'd do at defensive mid. He wouldn't run up loads at defensive mid, but that's something that you can't really do at centre back. We know Matip likes to do it, but it leaves us a bit short at the back. He'll have to learn how Gomez moves. Gomez will have to learn how he moves, and someone's going to have to take control at the back. It used to be Virgil. Let's see who's going to be that leader at centre back now. It's good that it's not City this weekend. They've got a bit more time to sort of get used to each other. And if we can keep it as Gomez and Fab, like you said, build on midweek, get them through this weekend, then next weekend, and then hopefully you can see a partnership start to link. That'd be great for the club, to be fair, and I think it'll calm a lot of us down.
Definitely. I just want to get, before we wrap up, obviously it's been a short one. Just want to talk a bit more about Sheffield United. Like 19th in the table, 1 point out of 5. You look at their recent results, they drew to Fulham last 1-1, got beat by Arsenal 2-1, got beat by Leeds 1-0, lost to Villa 1-0, and got beat by Wolves 2-0. So it wasn't a surprise by how badly they've done this year, but because they were so good last year, you kind of expected them to carry it on a little bit, at least get a couple of wins on the board in those first 5 games. What do you think's going wrong for them at the minute?
I think they've been found out, to be honest. Their style of play last year and this year is just so different compared to every team in the Premier League. Like, what Premier League team do you see apart from them that has their centre-backs flying forward on an attack? It just doesn't happen. And yeah, there's the shock factor last year where teams aren't going to know how to defend against the whole team essentially running forward from the back to attack. Usually you don't have to worry about the 2 extra centre-backs coming at you. But yeah, there's that shock factor at the start. But this year, suppose it's a bit like teams learn how to play against Liverpool. We have better quality players, so we can still get through. Sheffield United, that shock's gone. Teams will know how to sort of defend against that better, press them a bit higher, win the ball back. And then if you win the ball back against Sheffield, you're almost through on goal because their centre-backs are completely out of position. So if you catch them in transition, then you're probably going to score. And if they do that against Liverpool with our rapid front 3, well, rapid front 2 and then Bobby, then they're going to get found out. And a bit like Leeds, who only have one way of playing, I think Sheffield are a bit the same. That's their system. That's how they play, and they live and die by it. So hopefully it doesn't work.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is right. Like, I think because they've lost Henderson as well, like Dean Henderson's gone back to Man United. I think that's a major, because I think they banked on him bailing them out like a lot of times, because he, like, to be fair, he was absolutely terrific the whole of last season for them. Kept them in a lot of games, and he was, for me, England's best keeper last year by a long way. Yeah. That's why I was surprised Pickford was in goal. But I think losing him has kind of made the confidence drop a little bit, because they haven't got that safety blanket, have they? Like, in terms of going forward and maybe getting caught in the counter and having a bit of a cat in goal who can keep them in the game. Do you think that's part of the reason why they haven't?
Definitely as well. Yeah, a team's always going to look at us, for example. A team's always going to suffer when they lose their top quality keeper and they have to bring in essentially someone who is not their first choice. If you got Chris Wilder, you gave some truth serum, and you asked him, "Are you happy with Ramsdale, or would you rather kept Dean Henderson?" Everyone knows he'd rather have Dean Henderson. What that boy's doing, wasted on United's bench, is beyond me. I don't understand why they didn't. If they were going to use him on the bench, just let him go out on loan for another year. Because he is, like you said, England's best goalkeeper by a bit of a mile. And then it'd be Nick Pope. Pickford can fuck off. But yeah, I suppose that it's like you said when we played Villa, having a keeper of lesser quality in goal, the confidence that the defence are going to have is going to be a bit shaky. So add to the fact that their centre backs are flying forward anyway, it isn't exactly a recipe for success. I like Chris Wilder. I think he's a good manager and got a little bit of a soft spot for Sheffield after what they did last year, but I don't see it going well.
Yeah, and I think they've, like Ramsdale, he's like, what, 22? He's still a young keeper himself. He's only a year younger than Henderson. I don't think he's on the same level as a Henderson. I mean, they've spent, I think it's 18 million on Ramsdale.
And a relegated goalkeeper as well, which isn't a good sign.
Yeah, and another 23.4 on Brewster according to Transfer Market. So they've put the money in the right places. Obviously, goalie and forward, and it remains to be seen if they've fucked up on the Ramsdale transfer. I mean, maybe he'll come good. I mean, he's still young. Yeah. But signing Brewster, I have to talk about Brewster a little bit. Like he like Klopp said, he was our boy, and we poached him off Chelsea, and he's kind of grew up and learned his trade here, and he's all the games he was playing in, like the Carabao Cup game against Arsenal, and he misses the pen and stuff like that, and you're just thinking, oh God, and then that ends up being his last kick for Liverpool, didn't it? I think.
Yeah. I mean,
so it's disappointing, wasn't the way it went for him. Like I don't think he got enough game time, and I don't think his style of play quite fits in terms of what Klopp wants. But in the future, with that potential buyback, I think in the next 3 years, I think if he starts banging in the goals, I imagine we will put a little cheeky bid in for him, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, he is what he is. He's an out-and-out striker, and that isn't what we use, unfortunately, for him. And if he wants game time, then it's not going to be, especially with the signing of Jota, to go along with like Minamino and Origi and Shaq. Like he is limited with his options. When a team like Sheffield comes in and offers 23 million, it's not 23 million or whatever it was to sit on the bench. He's going to play. So it makes sense, especially considering the buyback, to let him go, let him learn his trade in the Prem, starting, playing a lot of games, getting some experience. And then if he is good enough to warrant us to buy him back, then we'll fit him into the system. But right now, you can't make an argument to change the system for a kid that hasn't really played. So I think it makes sense on Liverpool's part, but it is definitely sad to see him go because he is a talent.
Yeah, and I think with the arrival of Minamino and obviously then the arrival of Jota, who can play in all three positions in the forward three and could play on the side of the midfield at a push, probably, if we were employing like an attacking type formation. So it is a shame for him, but I think he goes with our good wishes, doesn't he? Like we all wish him the best. We all hope he scores loads of goals this year and for however long he's there, and then maybe we can poach him back.
Yeah, he's not leaving like Bobby Duncan left. Let's put it that way. Wish him the best of luck. Hopefully he doesn't score against us. But I'd love to see him back. And if he's performing and he warrants us to pay the buyback, then do it, bring him back. Because, like you said, he's definitely a talent. You can see the boy can finish. It's just a shame that penalty miss happened to be his last kick for the club. But he's definitely going to smash it at some point.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, speaking of Minamino and Jota, who were both really good against Ajax when they came on for that last half an hour, I just want to go into predictions for team news. I know we've done a little bit of it, but what would your start 11 be for tomorrow?
So yeah, Adrian obviously. Then it'd be Trent, Fab, Gomez, and Robbo. Henderson at the base with Gini, and if he's 100% fit, Thiago. If he's not 100% fit, I would not risk it. In that case, anyone, whether that be Keita, whether it be Millie, whoever, just don't risk Thiago unless he's fit. And then the front three are the usual: Mane, Bobby, and Mo. Seen a lot of chat about Bobby needing a break, but
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you think it's the time to give Bobby a rest and bring in a Minamino or a Jota and maybe push someone up front? Or
I mean, I think it's a bit harsh. Like, yeah, he's been off the boil a bit, but I think he's just one of those, if you take him out, a bit like Henderson, then you're going to realise, shit, he's not there. He's not on the form that he was last year or a couple of years back, but he's world class, and with world class players, it'll just click for him. He's not someone that I put on the bench, but if they are going to bench him, then I'd start Jota.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think out of the two, Minamino and Jota, I think Jota probably maybe performed a little bit better. I would like to see Minamino definitely in that false nine role more often, because you definitely see he's starting to understand it completely. Like, he does the exact same things, doesn't he, as Bobby does. Like, he drops deep, he's got those sharp turns, like passings, boss, and he's just got an eye for a pass, and he looks really interesting. That he could maybe give, like you said, give Bobby a rest more especially in this season where it's going to be a lot more condensed, and we're going to games coming quick and thick and fast. That we might need them more often in that false nine role. But before we go, let's do some score predictions.
My specialty. Let's see. 4-1.
4-1.
4-1. 4-1.
Oh, that's fine. Well, I think the last part I said it would be, I think I said 3-0, so I completely fucked it up there, didn't I? I'm open for another clean sheet, you know what I mean? Like, it's stars aligning with fucking Rhian Brewster, like, is starting for Sheff and scoring, like, but I just hope that with hopefully Fab and Gomez back there, that little duo can keep him quiet all day, and we get a little 2-0 win. 2-0 win will be sound. I'm happy with a 1-0, honestly. I'd just be happy with a win and a clean sheet. Just keep the clean sheets. Yeah, keep the clean sheet rolling as well, and then I think we'll be sound. I mean, Leeds have won tonight, so they've gone above us. They're third now, absolutely flying. Fucking fair play, beating Aston Villa 3-0. Absolutely top class.
You lose 7-2 to Aston Villa.
Let's not talk about that one. Anyway, that's been the Premier League review for Sheffield United tomorrow. Leave us a like, drop us a subscribe. I'll put that picture of Matt's leg in one of the pictures on the tweet, and you can all give him grief for it. And we'll see you next time. Nice one now.
Yeah, thanks for back on. This is a lovely recurring role that I've got.
Keep it coming, lad. Keep it coming. And now that you're back in Jib, you've got a lot of spare time, so keep them coming, lad.
Avid Zoom user.
Anyway, we'll see you next time.